Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Kori Maru and today I am in a very good mood to talk about an interesting topic regarding the new Virtua Fighter Project. In my past community poll, you guys wanted me to do a deep dive on Stella, one of the newest and most mysterious fighters added into the upcoming game. Ever since she's been revealed, people have theorized that this fighter is Sarah Bryant. However, that isn't the case, as Ritrio Yamada clarified in an interview that Stella is not the veteran fighter we know and love. So, who could Stella really be? In this video, I will analyze the possible backstory of this new character, her connection to Sarah Bryant in Judgment 6, and what her narrative quote, "The Bridge Between Worlds," could possibly mean for the character's role in this new installment of Virtua Fighter. Before we dive in, if you enjoy my Sega content and video game discussions, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot to me as I love talking about Sega with my viewers. Now,
come on, let's begin.
Stella is one of the newest fighters in the upcoming new Virtua Fighter Project. She was revealed alongside Akira during the game's announcement at the Game Awards. At first glance, many, including myself, thought she was Sarah Bryant, since both characters share striking similarities in hairstyle, outfit color, and even fighting stance. However, the developers have confirmed that this new character is not Sarah, and the very first VF Direct gave us details on Stella, confirming her name and assigning her the mysterious narrative title, The Bridge Between Worlds. Looking closely at her design, Stella's attire strongly resembles Sarah's iconic blue bodysuit, but with a more futuristic look. If you pause the VF Direct footage, you can spot red tags on the front and the back of her outfit, possibly with code numbers with possible hints of something engineered or manufactured rather than naturally worn. With that in mind, we know Judgment 6 is still active in this new entry. Another key observation is her youth. Stella looks much younger than Sarah, and we compare her to Akira, who clearly appears older in this new entry. It's safe to assume that the new Virtua Fighter Project takes place years after the 5th World Fighting Tournament. But to understand Stella's mystery even further, we need to revisit the backstory of Sarah Bryant herself. Sarah Bryant is the younger sister of Jackie Bryant, both born into one of America's wealthiest families in San Francisco, the home of the famous martial artist Bruce Lee. Their family fortune came from a gold mine discovered by their grandfather. With encouragement from their father, a film producer, both siblings trained in Jeet Kune Do. Jackie juggled martial arts with his love for racing, eventually becoming a professional IndyCar driver nicknamed the Blue Flash. Sarah, on the other hand, pursued martial arts with determination to prove herself in the male-dominated world, while also balancing college life and extreme hobbies like skydiving. Her life changed forever when Jackie suffered a devastating crash during a race in 1990, later revealed to have been orchestrated by the shadowy organization known as Judgment 6. As Jackie recovered, Sarah began investigating, only to be kidnapped and brainwashed by Judgment 6. Their goal? To weaponize her as an assassin to eliminate her own brother. For the first 2 World Fighting Tournaments, Sarah fought under J6 control before finally breaking free, though she lost her memory in the process. During the 3rd World Fighting Tournament, Sarah slowly regained her identity, but questions within herself still lingered. Did her desire to fight Jackie come only from brainwashing, or did she secretly crave to surpass him on her own? J6's obsession with creating the ultimate Doral model later placed Sarah as a prime target for a simulation. By the 4th and 5th tournaments, Sarah fought not only to surpass her brother, but to resist J6's manipulations once again. Facing guilt when Vanessa Lewis, her protector, was instead captured and experimented on. This led her to train even harder to new heights and prevent J6 from experimenting on more victims. This history of abduction, control, and scientific manipulation makes Sarah central to J6's experiments, and that makes Stella's introduction even more interesting. So, what could have happened after the events of the 5th World Fighting Tournament, and how does Stella fit into all of this? Well, with enough research from the VF community and my own speculations, I've gathered a few possible explanations. One theory I have is that Judgment 6 could have successfully kidnapped Sarah at some point to convert her as the new Doral while using her DNA and combat data to create Stella. Rather than building another cold and motionless Doral, they may have engineered Stella as a synthetic being. A kind of perfected hybrid that combines Sarah's human qualities with J6's technological enhancements. Some earlier speculations from fans suggest that Stella could even be Sarah's daughter, inheriting both her fighting style and physical traits. While that idea sounds intriguing, the timeline makes it difficult to believe, unless the story of the new game jumps ahead by decades or involves some sort of accelerated aging experiment. It's far more likely that Stella is scientifically designed to resemble Sarah rather than being a natural descendant. Another possibility is that Stella might actually be Sarah herself, brought once again under Judgment 6's control. In this theory, Stella will be a codename, her youthful look explained by either genetic manipulation or cryogenic preservation, similar to Nina Williams in Tekken 3. This wouldn't be the first time Sarah was robbed of her free will, and her history with J6 makes it plausible that she could fall victim once more. However, Richiiro Yamada has already stated that Stella is not Sarah, so while interesting, this theory seems less likely. With all of these speculations put together, I'm going to go with the possibility that Stella could be J6's newest creation through cloning, deliberately modeled after Sarah in order to carry forward the fighting legacy they couldn't fully control. If this theory turns out to be true, Stella's role may be that of a psychological weapon designed to mirror Sarah's abilities and act as a bridge between humanity and J6's mechanical ambitions. Now that we've gone over the theories of who Stella could be, let's talk about the meaning of the phrase that ties to her narrative, the bridge between worlds. On the surface, it sounds mysterious, but when you look at how the phrase is used in mythology, literature, and storytelling, it can reveal a lot about what Stella might represent in Virtua Fighter's narrative. One interpretation is that Stella represents a threshold between the old and the new, connecting Virtua Fighter's established lore with a fresh direction that RGG Studio is aiming for. Her very existence could be a signal that the franchise is moving into unexplored territory, but still keeping one foot firmly planted in its roots. At the same time, the phrase might also point to duality, the idea that Stella could embody two different states of being. If she is a clone or experiment, then she exists somewhere between human and artificial, between free will and control, or between Sarah Bryant's legacy and Judgment 6's influence. Another angle is that Stella could serve as a mediator in the game's story, and in the lore of Virtua Fighter, she might serve as the link between the fighters and the experiments engineered by Judgment 6. She could be positioned to explore both perspectives, the human struggle for freedom and the cold-ambition of J6's experiments. Finally, the phrase could also be symbolic for evolution. Virtua Fighter has always been known for its gameplay-first approach with minimum story, but the new Virtua Fighter Project is shaping up to include a much stronger narrative push. Stella could be the character who represents this change, bridging not just the worlds within the story, but also bridging Virtua Fighter's competitive roots with cinematic storytelling style that RGG Studio is famous for. And that brings us to the end of the discussion about Stella. Currently at this point, her true identity is still shrouded in mystery, and the developers at RGG Studio hasn't given us much beyond her name and the narrative title she carries. But who do you think Stella could be? Could Stella be a clone of Sarah Bryant, a brand new creation by Judgment 6, engineered as a weapon to carry on her legacy through their plans of world domination? Do you think she'll become a central figure in the new game's story, or simply a new face among the roster? VF players from around the world, who do you think Stella really is? And will you be picking her up as your main once the game releases? Also, how do you feel about Virtua Fighter introducing new characters like Stella? Do you see her as a good sign of the series evolving? That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video and want more Virtua Fighter and Sega discussions, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for future content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.